and welcome to our 90 News. These are the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, awarded the Athir rank of the National Order of Merit to Mujahid Salah Goujil, honoring his role in Algeria's liberation and nation building. Army General Sachin Girihawi affirms Algeria's commitment to good neighborliness and peaceful conflict resolution at a national forum on the African Sahel. Sonatrach earns international recognition at the World Gas Conference in China for its cutting-edge work on controlling instability in carbon drilling. The Algerian TV airs live testimonies by French historian Nessa Anderson, revealing torture practices during the Liberation War. Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's news. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, presided over today a tribute ceremony at the People's Palace in honor of the Mujahid Salah Goujil. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, awarded the Athir rank of the National Order of Merit to Salah Goujil, Mujahid and President of the Council of the Nation, as he concludes his professional career at this long-standing constitutional institution, which he has served with competence, integrity and dedication. The ceremony was attended by senior state officials, the President of the Council of the Nation, the President of the People's National Assembly, the President of the Constitutional Court, the Principal Private Secretary at the Presidency of the Republic, the Prime Minister, the Minister Delegate to the Ministry of National Defense, Chief of Staff of the PNA, members of the government, advisors to the President of the Republic, and senior state figures, including war veterans, national personalities, and comrades.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله تعالى رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد الوصف والوحي والرسالة والحكمة وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. في هذا اليوم الأحد 27 من شهر ذي القعدة لعام 1446 هجرية، الموافق ل25 من شهر مايو لسنة 2025، بقصر الشعب وبرعاية وإشراف من السيد عبدالمجيد تبون رئيس الجمهورية صدر مصف الاستحقاق الوطني، نشهد هذه الجلسة الاحتفائية لمنح وسام من المصف لأحد أبناء الجزائر البررة، تكريما لما قدمه للجزائر من خدمات جليلة ومما تحلى به من فضائل تعلي سمعتها. مناضل ومجاهد وشاهد ورجل دولة، ولد بباتنة في 14 من شهر يناير لسنة 1931. ناضل في سن مبكرة مع رواد ورجالات الحركة الوطنية، ونشأ في مدرستها على الالتزام والنضال الوطني، وانضم إلى الكفاح المسلح، فكان مع رفقائه من الشهداء رحمهم الله تعالى ومن المجاهدين أطال الله في أعمارهم، متدرجا في الرتب ومشاركا في المعارك ضمن تلك الأفواج التي أنضجت الوعي ومهدت بصبر وعزيمة الطريق إلى الوعد، وعد الشعب الجزائري مع ثورة التحرير المجيدة. وغداة الاستقلال تولى المهام السامية سياسيا في حزب جبهة التحرير الوطني، عضو لجنتها المركزية، منسقا عاما للحزب ثم محافظا له. وبمرجعية نوفمبر والوفاء للوطن تولى مهامه السامية وزيرا، وحاز مقعدا برلمانيا في المجلس الشعبي الوطني، ثم استحق عضوية مجلس الأمة، فنائبا لرئيس هذه المؤسسة الدستورية قبل أن ينتخب رئيسا للغرفة العليا، متوجا بذلك مسارا ثريا حافلا بالدلائل على ارتباط المجاهد صالح غوجيل بقيم ورسالة نوفمبر الخالدة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه، فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر وما بدلوا تبديلا. صدق الله العظيم. بمقتضى المرسوم الرئاسي رقم 25139 المؤرخ في 23 ذي القعدة عام 1446 الموافق 21 مايو سنة 2025، يتشرف رئيس الجمهورية السيد عبد المجيد تبون صدر مصف الاستحقاق الوطني بإسداء وسام برتبة أثير من المصف للسيد المجاهد صالح قجيل رئيس مجلس الأمة، الذي يعد من رعيل نوفمبر ومن رفاق أولئك الذين فجروا الثورة التحريرية المباركة. هذه الثورة التي قطعت دابر الاحتلال الفرنسي وفصلت بين عهدين، عهد النور وعهد الظلام. وإذ يكرم سيد الرئيس هذا المجاهد فإنما يكرم من خلاله جيل الثورة ممن استشهدوا في سبيل الوطن وممن كتب المولى لهم أن شهدوا الاستقلال وبناء الدولة الوطنية. وما هذا الإسداء لهذا المجاهد وهو يختتم مساره المهني بعد أن تقلد رئاسة مجلس الأمة، هذه المؤسسة الدستورية العتيدة، وقد خدمها بكفاءة ونزاهة واقتدار، إلا تشريف وتقدير وعرفان من السيد رئيس الجمهورية لرسالة هذه الشخصية الوطنية خلال الجهادين، جهاد في تحرير البلاد وجهاد في أداء أمانة البناء والتشييد. أرجو من السيد الرئيس أن يشرفنا بالتفضل لتسليم وسام الاستحقاق الوطني للمجاهد السيد صالح قجيل، الذي أدعوه بدوره ليتسلم هذا الوسام مع شهادة المرسوم الرئاسي الممضاة من طرف السيد الرئيس. شكرا سيد الرئيس وشكرا لكم جميعا.
The Mujahid Salah Gujil expressed deep appreciation for the honor bestowed upon him, describing it as a tribute to the memory of the martyrs who sacrificed their lives for Algeria's independence. He also praised the significant importance granted by the President of the Republic to the National Memory File.
This is truly a historic day. I'm very proud to be here among the Mujahideen and the nation's leaders, but my thoughts are also with my fellow fighters who were martyred and didn't live to see Algeria's independence. We must always remember them, and I always tell others to take care of Algeria for their sake. All of this is thanks to the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, who has worked to restore our history and national memory since he took office.
On the sidelines of the ceremony honoring the war veteran Salah Gujil, the President of the Republic paid a heartfelt tribute to Algeria's veteran freedom fighters in a moment that reflected the deep mutual respect and enduring esteem the President holds for the country's war veterans, both men and women. In a powerful display of gratitude and national memory, the President of the Republic engaged in warm exchanges with several figures who played a key role in the historic struggle for independence against the French colonial rule, and who later contributed significantly to the nation's post-independence reconstruction and development. Among the war veterans, the President Abdelmajid Tebboune met were Dharifa bin Mhidi, sister of the martyred national hero Al-Arbi bin Mhidi, and Jamila Abu Basha, along with other distinguished veterans of November 1st revolution. For their part, companions of Mujahid Salah Gujil affirmed that the honor he received constitutes a historic tribute to one of the iconic figures of the Algerian Revolution, a tribute to the voice of November in the year 2025.
Saleh Goujil has been known for 60 years as a respected mujahid, governor and minister with admirable qualities. For the first time, he is being honored by President Abdelmajid Tebboune, making this a historic moment. Today, the President Abdelmajid Tebboune gave one of the icons of the Algerian Liberation War, Saleh Goujil, a well-deserved medal that honored the whole Algerian political scene. Saleh Goujil has a long and honorable career as an icon from our history. I worked with him for over 12 years. What I can say that honoring him today by the President is well deserved.
Army General Said Chingiri Hamis, delegate to the Minister of National Defense, Chief of Staff of the PNA, supervised today at the level of the National Army Circle a national seminar entitled The African Sahel Security and Development Challenges in the light of the geopolitical situation in the region.
The forum was attended by many important people such as the Speaker of the Council of the Nation, the Speaker of the National People's Assembly, the Prime Minister, the President of the Constitutional Court, the Director of the Office of the President of the Republic, several ministers, advisors to the President, the Secretary General of the Presidency, and the Director General of the National Institute for Strategic Studies. Other attendees included the Secretary General of the Ministry of National Defense, top army commanders, acting commanders of the National Gendarmerie and the Republican Guard, the Director of the Office at the Ministry of National Defense, the Commander of the 1st Military Region, heads of departments, the Army's Inspector General and other directors and officers from the Ministry of National Defense and the General Staff of the People's National Army. Senior officials, university professors and media leaders were also present. The forum started with an opening speech by the Army General. He welcomed the guests and participants and confirmed Algeria's strong commitment to its basic principles. These principles include good relations with neighboring countries, respect for the sovereignty and unity of other nations, and choosing peaceful ways like dialogue to solve problems. He explained that Algeria always follows these principles in its foreign policy: mutual respect, good neighborliness, no interference in other countries' internal affairs, and full respect for national sovereignty and borders. He said Algeria is working hard through diplomacy to bring back peace and stability in the Sahel region. Algeria prefers peaceful solutions and support dialogue and negotiations instead of violence. The Army General also said that Algeria is always ready to help its neighboring countries. It does this through different types of military cooperation, especially as part of the Joint Operational Staff Committee. He added that Algeria plays an important role in keeping the region safe and stable. It helps its partners and neighbors in the Sahel by improving their defense abilities, training their armies, and supporting them in fighting terrorism. Algeria does this while fully respecting the right of each country to handle its own security and without interfering in their decisions. He also mentioned that Algeria has strong historical and human ties with the people of the Sahel. It has always tried to support their economic and social development. He explained that Algeria helps by showing solidarity with the people of the region, offering humanitarian aid and funding important development projects. These efforts aim to help people live with dignity in their own countries and stop efforts to destabilize the region. He stressed that even though some try to weaken Algeria's important role, the country will continue to be a key player in keeping the region safe and peaceful, thanks to the wise and strategic leadership of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. Algeria will keep working hard to promote dialogue and support useful regional initiatives to bring stability and security to the Sahel. After that, the Army General, who is also Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense and Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, officially opened the forum. Then the participants began the scheduled lectures. The first one was given by Ahmed Attaf, Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs, National Community Abroad, and African Affairs. His lecture was called Achieving Security, Stability and Development in the Sahel Region. with effective strategy. At the beginning of his talk, the minister said that the topic of the forum was wisely chosen, especially since it's matched with the celebration of Africa Day. This day marks the founding of the Organization of African Unity in 1963. He said Africa Day is not only to remember past achievements, but also to talk about today's challenges and how to face them. He said Algeria has great patience and wisdom when dealing with the serious problems in the Sahel. The country believes in unity, sharing the same history, hopes and future, and always offers support to help its neighbors. He also said Algeria has the strength and willpower to overcome hard times and focus on the greater good, working for peace, stability and development in the Sahel region. Later, Malika Salma Haddadi, Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission, led the second lecture. It was titled The Stakes and Challenges Related to the Security, Stability and Development in the African Sahel Region. Abed Halouz, Director of the Algerian Agency for International Cooperation for Solidarity and Development, spoke about Algeria's role in supporting peace, safety and progress in the Sahel countries. Finally, Professor Mohamed Amroun, Chairman of the Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and National Community Abroad Committee and the Council of the Nation, talked about the colonial past and the new international powers and what they mean for the future of the Sahel region. The forum also included discussions and talks by experts and officials who shared useful ideas and suggestions, which helped enrich the forum's work and final recommendations.
Acting on behalf of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Secretary of State to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, in charge of the National Committee of Rabat, Sofiane Shaib, took part in the inauguration ceremony of Ecuador's President, Daniel Noboa. On this occasion, Shaib conveyed the President's greetings to the newly elected Ecuadorian leader, along with his sincere wishes for success in fulfilling his high duties and for continued progress and prosperity for the Ecuadorian people. On the sidelines of the inauguration ceremony, Sofiane Shaib, Secretary of State to the Minister of Foreign Affairs in charge of National Committee of Rabat, engaged in extensive discussions with several members of the Ecuadorian government. He met with the Minister of Agriculture and Livestock, the Minister of Production, Foreign Trade, Investment and Fisheries, as well as the Deputy Ministers of Foreign Relations and Foreign Trade. Talks centered various dimensions of bilateral cooperation, with particular focus on strengthening and expanding ties in key sectors, notably economic collaboration. Salat Khak has earned international recognition at the 29th World Gas Conference in Beijing, taking home the Industry Award for Best Practices across the value chain. The award followed a standout presentation by Dr. Nadia Hadoum, showcasing innovative solutions for drilling stability in carbon wells. Her work was selected from hundreds of global entries, further cementing Salat Khak's technical leadership and adding to Dr. Hadoum's impressive list of scientific contributions. To Nouakchott, where the 7th Algerian Products Fair continues as part of efforts to boost Algerian-Mauritanian cooperation. The Minister of Internal Trade and Market Regulation, alongside the Mauritanian Minister of Trade and Tourism, led the working session focused on strengthening trade and investment. The meeting brought together officials, business leaders and the Algerian ambassador to Mauritania. And as the far-right groups try to whitewash France's colonial past, historians like Nice Anderson are uncovering its crimes in Algeria through documents and testimonies. Najtair.
Amid the rise in rhetoric that fuels extremism and hatred in France's political and media spheres, some courageous voices are breaking away from the colonial ideology to defend truth and justice. One of these voices is a French author, Nice Anderson, who works to expose the colonial crimes in Algeria and preserve historical memory through his writings and documentations. It takes courage to speak honestly about the history between the two countries. I talk about it more in public because the public isn't already convinced. If there wasn't a response in public opinion to arguments like those of Otayo, he wouldn't use them. But he does because politically the public holds certain feelings, and that's where the responsibility of the state lies. It's up to the state to change course, to educate and to explain to the public opinion. No matter how long the French political elite postpones the courage to acknowledge them, colonial crimes will remain etched in the memory. Neither the passage of time nor media restoration can erase or conceal them. When it comes to denouncing torture, there was a process, and then came the book La Torture, which is not just a testimony relayed by the author's lawyer. It's direct and explains the mechanisms and forces involved. It shows how it works both in the methods and in the minds of the officers and the people who practiced it. In La Gonrem book, it's documented that torture was a system witnessed by different testimonies in France. These testimonies highlight the intellectual integrity and historical honesty of writers and historians who stood up for the truth and earned rightful respect. They also demonstrate the wide international solidarity with the Algerian people's fight for freedom and independence that took decades of sacrifices documented by the history.
Morocco now. The injustice of the Muslim regime with its citizens has reached unprecedented levels, where human dignity is no longer considered, while corruption scandals continue to surface, this time in the higher education sector.
From demolition homes to demolition markets, the Makhzen's bulldozers are relentless. This time they have extended their claws to the largest market in Casablanca, sparking a wave of anger against the officials who have cut off the livelihoods of the citizens, including merchants and craftsmen. These are our shops. They are demolishing them. They want to displace us. No parliament, no government, a government of marginalization and exclusion. They have left people homeless. These are people without shelter, major economic and social problems, and high prices. From the lack of homes and neighborhoods to the demolition of educational systems, a new scandal is shaking Moroccan public opinion. It's a university professor at Ibn Zahar University in Agadir with a strict collusion of higher education authorities. University degrees, including master's degrees, are being sold in full view of everyone. As for the Ibn Zahar University scandal, it's a complete crime. Brokerage in degrees has been going on for years. This means that there are corrupt parties. This is a real eroding crisis, so I believe it shouldn't be dealt with a disgraceful way. A scandal has prompted some members of parliament to demand an investigation into the incident, which is not an isolated incident but rather part of a corrupt system that besieges Moroccan citizens and controls their fate.
The Israel's occupation continues its deadly assaults on Gaza, killing and injuring civilians as the humanitarian crisis worsens under blockade and aid denial. Rajah explains the situation there.
Amid the continued aggression on the Gaza Strip and the rising number of martyrs and injured, most of whom are women and children, the latest air and ground attacks resulted in the death of a civil defense member and a journalist, along with the rest of their family members in Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza. We call on the international organizations to take action against the Zionist occupation and enforce the international laws meant to protect the Palestinian journalists and people. Among these many victims, and at a Shifa medical complex in Gaza City, a child wounded in a Zionist airstrike is receiving treatment after losing his limbs. He now holds on to hope for medical care outside the Strip, as the region suffers from severe shortages, even of essential nutritional supplements for children. The boy has been severely injured, losing both his leg and genitalia in the attack, while his other leg remains badly wounded and requires urgent surgery. He also lost his father in the strike and his source of income. As the occupation continues to block the entry of fuel and flour to bakeries, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza worsens. While limited supplies reach the southern areas, the northern remains isolated. And this ongoing assault has led the international organizations to issue urgent calls for the consistent and effective delivery of food aid to avoid further deepening the already dire situation. I could only get this rice for my children and it's all contaminated, but we don't have any choice.
السكان من شمال قطاع غزة ومن غزة إلى الجنوب.
I could only get rice for my children and it's all contaminated, but we don't have any choice.
عشان ما معيش فلوس رز مسوس لكن مجبور إني آكله غصب عني بدي آكله.
Despite the international efforts, the Zionist occupation continues to block the entry of food and medical aid, leading to more deaths under the ongoing siege and relentless airstrikes, and the Palestinian people are yet pleading for help.
That was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.